Hello, and welcome to our Good Friday reflection. We're thinking about the things that Jesus carried on his journey from Palm Sunday to Good Friday and beyond. And today on Good Friday, we're thinking about the cross. Jesus carried his own cross, or more likely, he carried just the cross piece for it. The upright would have already been firmly fixed into the ground, and the cross piece would be designed to be slotted onto it once its victim had been nailed to it through his wrists, so as not to tear the flesh and to prolong the agony as long as possible. Jesus carried this huge piece of wood. Jesus, the carpenter from Nazareth, who was familiar with wood, carried his cross. It could have been as much as 6 feet in length, a big, heavy, solid piece of wood, perhaps weighing as much as 6 stone, awkward to carry. He carried it. Perhaps it was already stained with the blood of its last victim. It wouldn't have been new. In this land, dry land, where forests were few and far between, that crosspiece would have been used many times before. There would already have been holes in the wood left by the nails of the last person to be crucified, and the person before, and the person before that. So Jesus carried this big, heavy, awkward lump of wood, knowing exactly what to expect. But it wasn't just the cross that he carried. He carried a sense of rejection. "Who shall I release?" Pilate had asked the crowd. "Release Barabbas," they said. "So what shall I do with Jesus of Nazareth?" Pilate had asked. "Crucify him," the crowd responded. Jesus carried that as well. Knowing exactly what he was going towards, this most cruel of punishments, perhaps the most cruel punishment ever to have been invented, even now, by the Romans, a long drawn out, painful death which could last as long as 3 days. And Jesus had begged his Father, "Take this away from me," and then added, "But not my will, but yours." So Jesus, carrying his cross, carrying that rejection, and carrying the sin of the world, went knowing what to expect, and went, perhaps willingly is too big a statement, but he didn't object, because he had a greater purpose in mind. And once his wrist had been nailed there, and he was hoisted up onto the cross, he knew that what his task was. And when he called out from the cross, "It is finished," and he breathed his last and gave up the ghost, those who watched thought "it is finished" meant, "I'm done, I'm dead, my life is finished." But Jesus knew he had a better, a bigger, a more eternal purpose. And so do we. "It is finished" was not about his life. It was about our sinfulness and the power of death. Stay safe.